Welcome to the HyperHive podcast. We're diving deep today into nutritional psychiatry with Dr. Uma Naidu's book, This Is Your Brain on Food. It's really all about discovering how food can be a powerful tool for mental well-being.
It's interesting how we're starting to recognize that food nourishes not just our bodies, but also our minds.
Absolutely. We're going to go beyond the basics today, really unpacking how specific foods can impact various mental health conditions. And what makes this deep dive even more fascinating is Dr. Naidu herself. She's not just a Harvard-trained psychiatrist, but she's also a professional chef.
That's a very unique combination. She attended culinary school while practicing psychiatry.
Imagine that. It speaks volumes about her dedication to exploring this connection between food and mental health, particularly considering her own health journey battling cancer, where a mindful approach to food played a vital role in her recovery.
Her story definitely adds a powerful layer of credibility to this field, so let's get to the heart of it. One of the most groundbreaking concepts in nutritional psychiatry is the gut-brain connection.
Right. It's like our gut has a mind of its own, like a second brain, as some call it.
Exactly. The enteric nervous system in our gut has millions of neurons and constantly communicates with our brain. And what's even more fascinating is that they both develop from the same cells in the embryo, highlighting their deep connection.
Oh, that's mind-blowing. But how does this second brain actually impact our mental health?
Well, the bacteria in our gut, the gut microbiota, they play a crucial role in producing neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin.
Yeah.
And these are vital for regulating mood, sleep, and even cognition.
So an imbalance in gut bacteria can directly impact our mental well-being. It's like a domino effect.
Precisely. Let's take depression, for example. Dr. Naidu highlights processed foods, especially those loaded with sugar and refined carbs, as major culprits.
Ah, those tempting treats that give us a quick energy spike, but then leave us feeling worse. It's a vicious cycle.
Exactly. These foods cause rapid blood sugar fluctuations, which can exacerbate those feelings of low energy and mood swings that are associated with depression. And it's not just sugar. Artificial sweeteners, particularly aspartame, can also be problematic.
Really? But I thought aspartame was a good alternative to sugar.
Well, research suggests that aspartame can disrupt the production of key neurotransmitters like dopamine and norepinephrine, and these are crucial for mood regulation, so any disruption can worsen depression symptoms.
Wow, I had no idea. So those diet sodas might not be so guilt-free after all.
Indeed, Dr. Naidu also cautions against fried foods and trans fats. They contribute to inflammation, which has been linked to depression and several other mental health conditions.
So if we want to support our mental well-being,
Right.
particularly when it comes to depression, what should we be eating?
Dr. Naidu advocates for a diet that's rich in probiotics, omega-3 fatty acids, and the principles of the Mediterranean diet. Probiotics, found in fermented foods like yogurt and kimchi, help to restore a healthy balance in our gut microbiome, which can, in turn, improve mood and reduce depressive symptoms.
And omega-3s, found in fatty fish like salmon and mackerel, are essential for brain health and have shown promising antidepressant effects.
Exactly. Now, to give you something practical to take away, here are the top 5 foods to embrace and avoid for depression.
Okay, let's hear them.
To fight depression, embrace. 1. Fermented foods. Yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, kimchi. 2. Fatty fish, salmon, mackerel, sardines, herring. 3. Leafy greens. Spinach, kale, collard greens. 4. Nuts and seeds, walnuts, almonds, flax seeds, chia seeds. And 5. Fruits and vegetables, a variety of colorful produce.
That's a delicious and doable list. Now for the foods to avoid.
To help manage depression, try to avoid 1. Processed foods, especially those high in sugar, refined carbs, and artificial sweeteners. 2. Sugary drinks, sodas, fruit juices, energy drinks. 3. Fried foods. French fries, fried chicken, donuts. 4. Trans fats, found in processed foods and some margarines. 5. Excessive caffeine. Limit your intake to moderate levels.
That's incredibly helpful. It's a good reminder to be mindful of what we're putting into our bodies. Now let's shift gears to another common mental health challenge: anxiety.
Interestingly, some of the same culprits that worsen depression also exacerbate anxiety. Processed foods, sugary drinks, and unhealthy fats can lead to those blood sugar spikes and crashes that can really fuel anxiety symptoms.
Makes sense. And what about caffeine? I know I rely on my morning coffee, but can too much caffeine actually increase anxiety?
Absolutely. Caffeine is a stimulant. And while it can boost your alertness, excessive intake can trigger nervousness, restlessness, and even panic attacks in some individuals. Dr. Naidu suggests limiting caffeine intake to under 400 milligrams per day, which is about 4 cups of coffee.
Okay, good to know. Now on to alcohol. Many people reach for a drink to relax and unwind, but can alcohol actually contribute to anxiety?
While alcohol might initially seem to calm nerves, it can disrupt sleep patterns, worsen anxiety symptoms in the long run, and even lead to a vicious cycle of dependence.
So moderation is key if you choose to drink at all. Now, what about specific foods that can actually help to soothe anxiety?
Fermented foods, just like with depression, are excellent for anxiety. They help to support a healthy gut microbiome, which is crucial for calming the nervous system. Dietary fiber is also essential as it stabilizes blood sugar levels, reducing those anxiety-inducing energy dips.
So load up on those whole grains, fruits, vegetables, and legumes.
Exactly. Omega-3 fatty acids are beneficial here as well, and Dr. Naidu actually busts a common myth about tryptophan, the amino acid found in turkey, that often gets blamed for post-Thanksgiving sleepiness.
So no turkey coma solution for anxiety.
Not quite. While tryptophan is a precursor to serotonin, the idea that eating a lot of turkey will magically cure your anxiety is an oversimplification. However, incorporating tryptophan-rich foods like turkey, chicken, fish, nuts, and seeds, especially in combination with carbohydrates, can be helpful.
That makes sense. Now, to provide our listeners with some practical tips, what are the top 5 foods to embrace and avoid for anxiety?
To combat anxiety, embrace 1. Fermented foods. Yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, kimchi. 2. High-fiber foods. Whole grains, fruits, vegetables, legumes. 3. Omega-3 rich foods. Salmon, mackerel, walnuts, flax seeds. 4. Tryptophan-rich foods. Turkey, chicken, fish, nuts, seeds. 5. Magnesium-rich foods. Spinach, almonds, avocado, dark chocolate.
And what about the foods to avoid?
When managing anxiety, try to avoid 1. Processed foods, high in sugar, refined carbs, and unhealthy fats. 2. Excessive caffeine. Limit intake to moderate levels. 3. Alcohol can disrupt sleep and worsen anxiety symptoms. 4. High glycemic index carbs. White bread, sugary cereals, pastries. 5. Artificial sweeteners may disrupt neurotransmitter balance.
That's incredibly helpful. Now, let's move on to PTSD, which can be an incredibly challenging condition to manage.
Absolutely. What we eat can either help or hinder the recovery process from trauma. And once again, those familiar culprits, sugar, refined carbs, high-fat foods, and alcohol, they can really exacerbate anxiety, disrupt sleep, and even worsen those intrusive memories and flashbacks that are often associated with PTSD.
So it's even more crucial to avoid them if you're dealing with PTSD.
Yeah.
Now, on a positive note, what foods can be helpful for those who have experienced trauma?
Omega-3 fatty acids are crucial. They help reduce inflammation, which is often heightened in PTSD, and support brain health and cognitive function. Vitamin D is also important. Deficiency is actually quite common in individuals with PTSD, and studies suggest that supplementing with vitamin D can improve symptoms.
And probiotics. It seems like they play a vital role in so many mental health conditions.
They're incredibly important for PTSD as well. Restoring balance in the gut microbiome can help regulate mood, reduce anxiety, and improve sleep quality, which are all essential for PTSD recovery.
It's remarkable how something as simple as food can be a supportive tool in the healing process.
Indeed, Dr. Naidu also highlights the significance of cultural food preferences and comfort foods for those with PTSD. She shares a compelling anecdote about a patient from Sri Lanka who struggled to adhere to a strict Mediterranean diet because it lacked the familiar comfort of his traditional Sri Lankan food, particularly rice.
That makes perfect sense. Food is so deeply connected to our cultural identity and our emotional well-being.
Exactly. Dr. Naidu encouraged him to incorporate his traditional foods back into his diet in a balanced way. And he found that being able to enjoy his cultural foods in moderation actually eased his anxiety and helped him better manage his PTSD symptoms.
That's a powerful example of how personalized nutrition, taking cultural factors into account, can be crucial for mental well-being.
Absolutely. Now, for those struggling with focus and attention, managing ADHD can be incredibly difficult. And just as with other mental health conditions, diet plays a crucial role here as well.
So what are the key dietary factors in ADHD?
One of the most significant is the impact of certain proteins, particularly gluten and casein. Some individuals with ADHD seem to have sensitivities to these proteins, and consuming them can exacerbate their symptoms.
So we're talking about bread, pasta, cereal, milk, cheese, yogurt, all those staples that could be triggering inattention, hyperactivity, and even impulsivity in some people with ADHD.
That's what the research is suggesting. Dr. Naidu also points out the potential role of food additives, particularly artificial food coloring and sweeteners. While the research is still emerging, some studies suggest these additives can worsen ADHD symptoms in some children.
So those brightly colored candies and sugary cereals might not be doing kids any favors.
Exactly. It's important to know that not everyone with ADHD will have sensitivities to these foods or additives, but it's definitely worth exploring through an elimination diet under the guidance of a healthcare professional.
That makes sense. Now, switching gears to foods that can be helpful for ADHD, what does Dr. Naidu recommend?
She emphasizes the importance of a balanced diet that's rich in omega-3 fatty acids, protein, and complex carbohydrates. Limiting processed foods, simple sugars, and potentially those artificial food colorings and sweeteners is also crucial.
So those colorful fruits and veggies are a win-win for overall health and ADHD management.
Absolutely. And another interesting tidbit from Dr. Naidu is the importance of a balanced breakfast for those with ADHD. One study showed that participants who consumed a nutrient-enriched breakfast bar had improved alertness and attention compared to those who had a control bar.
So skipping breakfast is a definite no-no for those with ADHD. What exactly was in that magical breakfast bar?
It was packed with omega-3s, amino acids like tyrosine and theanine, vitamins, minerals, and a small amount of caffeine.
Whoa. It sounds like a powerhouse of brain-boosting nutrients.
It is. And if you're looking for a practical way to get those nutrients in the morning, Dr. Naidu suggests a protein-packed smoothie. You can pack it with ingredients like Greek yogurt, berries, spinach, and nut butter for a delicious and brain-boosting start to the day.
If you love the content, please like and subscribe to keep us going. Now let's move on to memory and dementia, a topic that becomes increasingly relevant as we age.
Absolutely. And once again, the Western diet, with its emphasis on unhealthy fats, refined carbs, and sugar, takes center stage as a major contributor to cognitive decline.
It seems like a recurring theme. But what's the specific link between the Western diet and memory problems?
Research has shown that a high-fat, high-sugar diet can lead to inflammation in the brain, which can actually damage brain cells and impair memory function.
And this damage can affect different parts of the brain.
Precisely. Studies show that a high saturated fat intake can interfere with insulin signaling in the hippocampus, a crucial brain region for memory formation. Essentially, it's like clogging up the memory center of your brain.
That's a scary thought. And it's not just the hippocampus, right?
Correct. A high-fat diet can also impair the function of the prefrontal cortex, which is involved in working memory and executive function.
So those junk food binges could be doing more than expanding our waistlines. They could be shrinking our brain power.
That's a great way to put it. And the alarming part is that this damage can start early in life. Studies have shown that exposing young children to a high-fat diet can actually decrease brain growth and impair memory function later in life.
That's a powerful argument for promoting healthy eating habits from a young age. But is this damage permanent?
There is hope. Research suggests that switching to a healthier diet and incorporating regular exercise can help reverse some of the negative effects of a high-fat diet on the brain.
That's reassuring. Now let's talk about specific foods that can help protect memory and fight dementia. What does Dr. Naidu recommend?
She's a big proponent of the MIND diet, which stands for Mediterranean-Intervention for Neurodegenerative Delay. It combines aspects of the Mediterranean diet and the Daesh diet, which was designed to lower blood pressure, and focuses specifically on foods that have been shown to protect brain health and reduce the risk of cognitive decline.
That's a mouthful, but it sounds like a winning combination. What are some of the star players in the MIND diet?
Leafy green vegetables like spinach and kale, other colorful vegetables, berries, nuts, olive oil, whole grains, fish, beans, and even a moderate amount of red wine.
It sounds delicious and doable.
Yeah.
And research shows that following the MIND diet can significantly slow cognitive decline and reduce the risk of Alzheimer's disease. Are there any other foods Dr. Naidu highlights for memory support?
Spices. Turmeric, with its active ingredient curcumin, is a powerful anti-inflammatory and antioxidant that has been shown to protect brain cells and improve memory function.
So those curries and golden milk lattes could be doing more than just tantalizing our taste buds.
Exactly. And black pepper, often combined with turmeric, can enhance the absorption of curcumin, making it even more effective. Cinnamon, saffron, rosemary, and ginger have also shown promise in improving memory function, though more research is needed.
So spice up your life for better brain health. Now let's move on to OCD, a condition characterized by intrusive thoughts and repetitive behaviors that can feel impossible to control.
OCD can be incredibly challenging, and the gut-brain connection plays a significant role here as well. Studies show that individuals with OCD often have imbalances in their gut microbiota, and these imbalances can actually contribute to the severity of their symptoms.
So the gut is sending mixed signals to the brain, fueling those obsessive thoughts and compulsive behaviors.
You could say that.
Yeah.
And what's fascinating is that research has shown that probiotics can be just as effective as medication for some people with OCD.
Really. So something as simple as eating yogurt or taking a probiotic supplement could help manage OCD symptoms.
In some cases, yes. While it's not a cure-all, it really highlights the powerful influence of the gut on our brain health.
That's incredible. Now, are there any specific foods that can make OCD worse?
Gluten is one to watch out for. Some studies suggest that gluten can trigger inflammation in the gut and brain, which can exacerbate OCD symptoms in those who are sensitive to it.
What about those savory flavor enhancers like MSG and other glutamates?
Those are definitely on the watch list. Glutamate is an excitatory neurotransmitter, meaning it stimulates brain activity. Too much glutamate can worsen those obsessive thoughts and compulsive behaviors in OCD.
So reading food labels carefully and being mindful of hidden sources of MSG is important for those with OCD. What about foods that can be helpful?
Probiotics, as we've discussed, are key. Dr. Naidu also highlights a couple of interesting supplements that have shown promise in reducing OCD symptoms. N-acetylcysteine, or NAC, and myo-inositol NAC is an antioxidant that helps reduce inflammation and protect brain cells. Myo-inositol is a naturally occurring compound that plays a role in cellular signaling, and some studies suggest it can help regulate serotonin and dopamine levels in the brain, which are often imbalanced in OCD.
So there's a range of dietary and supplemental approaches that can be explored in conjunction with traditional therapies for OCD.
Exactly, and it's always best to consult with a healthcare professional to develop a personalized plan. Now, let's talk about a universal topic. Sleep, or rather, the lack of it. Insomnia and fatigue are incredibly common, and it seems our dietary choices can play a role in either promoting or hindering restful sleep.
Absolutely. Those late-night snacks can be so tempting, but I imagine what we eat before bed can make a big difference.
You're right. While a small bedtime snack can sometimes be helpful, large meals close to bedtime can interfere with sleep. And those sugary treats and processed foods can lead to blood sugar spikes and crashes that disrupt your sleep patterns. Caffeine is another obvious one to avoid before bed.
Even if you can fall asleep after that afternoon latte, I imagine caffeine can reduce the quality of your sleep, making you feel groggy and unrested in the morning.
Exactly. And while alcohol might initially make you feel drowsy, it can actually disrupt your sleep later in the night, particularly REM sleep, which is essential for cognitive function and emotional processing. So those nightcaps might be backfiring.
That's interesting. Now let's talk about specific foods that can promote restful sleep. What are some of Dr. Naidu's recommendations?
Foods that are rich in melatonin are an excellent place to start. Melatonin is a hormone that regulates our sleep-wake cycle, and some foods naturally contain it, like tart cherries, walnuts, and fatty fish like salmon.
And chamomile tea. It's a classic bedtime beverage for a reason.
It is. Chamomile contains an antioxidant called apigenin, which has calming effects and can help to promote sleep. And remember that warm glass of milk before bed? It might actually have some scientific backing. Milk contains tryptophan, an amino acid that's a precursor to serotonin and melatonin. Combining tryptophan-rich foods with carbohydrates can enhance their sleep-promoting effects.
So a small bowl of cereal with milk before bed could be a good option.
It could be. And don't forget magnesium, another nutrient that can help with sleep. Almonds, spinach, dark chocolate, and avocados are all good sources of magnesium, which can relax your muscles and calm the nervous system, promoting restful sleep.
Now, let's switch gears to a condition that can involve some extreme shifts in mood: bipolar disorder.
Bipolar disorder is characterized by those cycles of mania and depression, which can be incredibly challenging to manage. And unfortunately, the Western diet once again plays a role in worsening symptoms.
Those processed foods, sugary drinks, and unhealthy fats just keep coming back to haunt us.
They do. They can contribute to blood sugar fluctuations and inflammation that can trigger mood swings in bipolar disorder. Caffeine can also be problematic as it can exacerbate mania, leading to increased energy, racing thoughts, and impulsivity.
So limiting caffeine is crucial. What about alcohol? How does alcohol use impact bipolar disorder?
It can have a significant negative impact.
Yeah.
Alcohol can interfere with the effectiveness of medications for bipolar disorder and worsen both manic and depressive episodes. It's actually best to avoid it altogether if you have bipolar disorder.
That makes sense. Now let's focus on foods that can be helpful for mood stabilization in bipolar disorder. What are some of Dr. Naidu's recommendations?
Omega-3 fatty acids are beneficial here as well. They have mood-stabilizing effects and have been shown to reduce depressive symptoms in bipolar disorder. Certain vitamins and minerals like folate, magnesium, and zinc are crucial for brain health and mood regulation.
And what are some good sources of those?
Leafy green vegetables, legumes, nuts, and seeds are all excellent sources. Dr. Naidu also emphasizes the importance of managing sodium intake for those with bipolar disorder, especially for those taking lithium.
That's interesting. So those with bipolar disorder need to be mindful of their salt intake and work closely with their doctor to manage their medication and diet.
Exactly.
Now let's discuss schizophrenia, a complex mental health condition that often involves psychosis, hallucinations, and delusions.
Schizophrenia is indeed very challenging. And while medication is essential for treatment, diet can play a supportive role.
So does the Western diet have an impact here as well?
Unfortunately, it does. Studies show that a diet high in processed foods, sugar, and unhealthy fats can worsen symptoms of schizophrenia.
That's disheartening, but it just reinforces the importance of a healthy diet for our overall mental well-being.
Absolutely. And alcohol can be particularly problematic for those with schizophrenia, as it can trigger hallucinations, paranoia, and other psychotic symptoms. It's essential for those with schizophrenia to avoid alcohol altogether.
Now, are there any foods that can help manage schizophrenia?
Omega-3 fatty acids are beneficial here too, as they support brain health and cognitive function. Antioxidants are also crucial for protecting brain cells from damage.
Can you give some specific examples of those powerful antioxidants?
Of course. NAC, or N-acetylcysteine, is one. It's an antioxidant that helps reduce oxidative stress and inflammation in the brain. Alpha-lipoic acid is another powerful antioxidant. It plays a role in cellular energy production and has neuroprotective effects.
So incorporating foods that are rich in antioxidants, along with those omega-3s, can be part of a supportive dietary approach for schizophrenia.
Absolutely. And it's crucial to work with a healthcare professional to address nutritional needs and ensure that any dietary changes complement medical treatment.
Now let's talk about a topic that's often considered taboo, but a very natural part of the human experience: libido.
Libido, or sex drive, can be influenced by many factors, including stress, hormonal changes, and yes, even our dietary choices.
So does the Western diet have an impact here as well?
It does. Studies show that a diet high in processed foods, sugar, and unhealthy fats can negatively impact libido, particularly in men.
So those dietary choices can really sabotage our love lives.
It's a possibility. A high-fat diet can lead to hormonal imbalances, decreased testosterone production, and even erectile dysfunction.
And what about soy? I've heard it can impact hormone levels.
There's some debate about the effects of soy on libido, especially in men. Some studies suggest that high soy intake might lower testosterone levels, but more research is needed. Moderation is key when it comes to soy consumption.
What about alcohol? It's often associated with lowered inhibitions, but can too much alcohol actually decrease libido?
You're right. Moderate alcohol consumption might not significantly impact libido, but excessive drinking can disrupt hormone production, interfere with blood flow, and even dampen sexual desire. So those romantic evenings fueled by too much wine might not be so romantic after all.
That's a good point. Now let's explore some foods that can actually enhance libido. Are there any true aphrodisiacs out there?
While the concept of aphrodisiacs is often romanticized, some foods can support hormonal balance, blood flow, and overall well-being, which can indirectly enhance libido. It's more about creating the right conditions for a healthy sex drive. Dr. Naidu highlights a few foods that might be helpful. For example, foods that boost oxytocin, the love hormone, can enhance feelings of connection and intimacy.
Okay, so what are we looking for?
Dark chocolate is a good one. It contains compounds that trigger the release of oxytocin, which might explain why it's often associated with romance. Magnesium can also boost oxytocin levels.
And what about those classic aphrodisiacs like oysters and strawberries?
Oysters are high in zinc, which plays a role in testosterone production, but their reputation as an aphrodisiac is likely more folklore than fact. And strawberries, while delicious, don't have any proven libido-enhancing properties.
So no magic love potion in those berries.
Not quite. However, a few other foods have shown promise in enhancing libido, like saffron and fenugreek. Saffron has been traditionally used as an aphrodisiac, and some studies suggest it might improve erectile function. Fenugreek also has a long history of use as an aphrodisiac, and some studies suggest it might boost testosterone levels and enhance libido in men.
Those are interesting options. What about red wine? It's often connected to romance and relaxation.
Moderate red wine consumption has been linked to improved sexual function in women, possibly due to its antioxidant content.
So that glass of red wine with dinner could be beneficial for more than just setting the mood.
It could be. But remember, moderation is key.
Yeah.
Excessive alcohol consumption can have the opposite effect and dampen libido.
Now, before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, let's touch on a couple of conditions that highlight the potential downsides of an overly restrictive approach to diet.
Orthorexia and exercise bulimia are conditions that can develop from an obsession with healthy eating and exercise, and they can be just as harmful as any other eating disorder.
So it's possible to take healthy habits too far.
Absolutely. Orthorexia involves an unhealthy fixation on eating pure and clean foods, often to the point of social isolation and nutritional deficiencies. It's like taking the concept of healthy eating to an extreme, where it becomes more about control and rigidity than nourishment.
And what about exercise bulimia?
Exercise bulimia involves an excessive and compulsive approach to exercise, often driven by a fear of weight gain or a distorted body image. It's not about enjoying the physical and mental benefits of exercise, but rather using it as a form of punishment and control.
So it's essential to approach both diet and exercise with a balanced and mindful perspective, listening to our bodies and seeking professional help if needed.
Exactly. Dr. Naidu provides some insightful case studies that illustrate these points. She shares the story of Husu, whose obsession with clean eating led to nutritional deficiencies and social isolation. His well-intentioned pursuit of health was actually harming him.
That's a powerful reminder that even positive intentions can lead to unhealthy outcomes if taken to extremes.
Indeed. She also shares the case of Jason, who pushed himself to the limit with exercise, ignoring his body's signals of fatigue and pain. His compulsive drive to exercise actually put his physical health at risk.
These stories really highlight the importance of balance and moderation when it comes to health and well-being.
Absolutely. And if you or someone you know is struggling with these or any other disordered eating patterns, seeking professional help is crucial. It's a delicate balance for sure. Now, shifting gears a bit, Dr. Naidu provides some really practical advice on setting up your kitchen for success when it comes to brain-healthy cooking.
Oh, I love that. So it's not just about what we eat, but also how we prepare for it. What are some of her tips?
She suggests thinking like a chef, equipping yourself with the right tools, and embracing food safety. It's about creating an environment that supports healthy habits, making it more enjoyable to cook those nutritious meals.
That makes so much sense. What are some must-have tools that she recommends?
Well, a good quality knife and a sturdy chopping board are essential. You'll also want measuring cups and spoons, a few pots and pans, and a blender is super helpful for smoothies and sauces.
And an instant read thermometer, right, to make sure we're cooking everything to the proper safe temperature.
Absolutely. Food safety is paramount. Dr. Naidu really stresses hand washing, proper food storage, and avoiding cross-contamination between raw meats and other ingredients.
Those are great reminders. I know I'm sometimes guilty of rushing through those steps.
We've all been there. She also suggests having some fun kitchen gadgets to make healthy cooking more enjoyable, like a salad spinner, a zester for adding citrus flavor, and even ice pop molds for homemade treats.
I love that. It's about making healthy cooking fun and accessible. Now let's get to the good stuff, the food. Dr. Naidu provides some sample menus and recipes that bring all these principles together. I'm excited to dive in.
Me too. Let's start with a menu that's designed to support a positive mood, packed with those probiotics, omega-3s, and mood-boosting nutrients that we've been discussing.
Okay, let's hear it. What's for breakfast?
How about a tofu scramble with sprouted mung beans? It's a plant-based take on scrambled eggs, full of protein and fiber to really kickstart your day.
Sounds delicious and energy boosting. What about a mid-morning snack?
Roasted pumpkin seeds and nuts are a great option. They're crunchy, satisfying, and provide those healthy fats, magnesium, and zinc that can contribute to a more balanced mood.
Perfect for when those afternoon cravings hit. Okay, on to lunch.
For lunch, we have baked salmon with walnut kale pesto. This dish is a triple threat for mood boosting. It's got those omega-3s from the salmon, folate from the kale, and those amazing benefits of walnuts we talked about earlier.
Now we're talking. This menu's making me hungry already. What about dinner?
For dinner, how about a feast of roasted chicken with turmeric and garlic, roasted root vegetables, and a quinoa salad? It's all about vibrant flavors and nutrient-rich ingredients that nourish both body and mind.
That sounds incredible. Is there room for dessert?
Of course. For a sweet treat, we have dark chocolate avocado mousse. It's rich, decadent, and provides those mood-boosting benefits of dark chocolate, plus healthy fats from avocado.
I love how these menus are not just healthy, but also sound absolutely delicious.
That's the key. Healthy eating shouldn't feel like a chore. Now, what about a menu for those who are dealing with anxiety?
Let's hear it. I'm always looking for ways to manage my own anxiety through food.
This menu focuses on foods that can help soothe the nervous system and calm those anxious feelings. For breakfast, we have a kefir smoothie with berries and banana. It's a refreshing way to start the day, and the kefir is packed with those gut-friendly probiotics that we know are so beneficial for anxiety.
Okay, I'm sold. What's next?
For a snack, a handful of Brazil nuts. They're an excellent source of selenium, which has been linked to reduced anxiety.
I had no idea. What about lunch?
For lunch, we have a salmon salad with avocado and a squeeze of lemon. It's light, flavorful, and packed with those anxiety-fighting omega-3s from the salmon, healthy fats from the avocado, and vitamin C from the lemon.
That sounds perfect for a warm afternoon. What's for dinner?
For dinner, we have turkey meatballs with zucchini noodles and a side of roasted asparagus. The turkey provides tryptophan, those zucchini noodles are a low-carb alternative to pasta, and asparagus is a good source of folate.
Another winner. And for dessert?
To wind down, we have chamomile tea with lavender honey. It combines those calming effects of chamomile with the delicate sweetness of lavender honey, perfect for promoting relaxation before bed.
This menu sounds like a dream for anyone who's struggling with anxiety. Now let's move on to PTSD. What kind of menu can support healing from trauma?
This menu centers on reducing inflammation, supporting brain health, and promoting emotional well-being. For breakfast, we have chia seed pudding with berries and walnuts. Chia seeds are nutritional powerhouses, and the berries and walnuts add those extra brain-boosting benefits.
That's a great way to start the day. What's next?
For a snack, how about a sardine snack? Sardines might not sound glamorous, but they're an amazing source of omega-3s and vitamin D, which are both so crucial for PTSD recovery.
Okay, I'm willing to give it a try. Now what about lunch?
For lunch, we have spice-roasted chicken breast with a side of steamed broccoli with lemon. The chicken provides protein, and broccoli is a good source of vitamin C and fiber.
Simple, delicious, and nourishing. What about an afternoon pick-me-up?
Celery sticks with almond butter are a great option. They're crunchy, satisfying, and provide a good balance of fiber, protein, and healthy fats.
Okay, what about dinner on this PTSD-friendly menu?
For dinner, we have pepper-crusted filet mignon with baby spinach chimichurri. The filet mignon is rich in iron and protein, and the chimichurri sauce, made with fresh herbs and olive oil, adds tons of flavor and antioxidants.
Whoa, that sounds incredibly delicious. Any dessert?
Of course. For dessert, we have blueberries with lemon zest and chopped hazelnuts. It's simple, refreshing, and packed with antioxidants, vitamin C, and healthy fats.
I love how each of these menus is really tailored to specific needs. Now, what about a menu for those who are struggling with focus and attention challenges like ADHD?
This one is designed to support focus, attention, and overall cognitive function. To kick things off, we have a chocolate protein smoothie for breakfast. It's a delicious and convenient way to start the day with a boost of protein, omega-3s, and those brain-boosting nutrients we discussed earlier.
Smoothies are always a great option. What's next?
For a mid-morning snack, how about a small piece of extra dark chocolate? The dark chocolate provides antioxidants and a small amount of caffeine, which can actually be helpful for focus.
Okay, I'm on board with that one. What about lunch?
For lunch, we have a creamy artichoke and leek soup. It's packed with nutrients and fiber and makes for a really satisfying and brain-boosting lunch.
Sounds delicious and comforting. What about an afternoon snack?
For an afternoon pick-me-up, we have a quarter cup of blueberries with a tablespoon of cashew nut butter. The blueberries provide antioxidants, and the cashew nut butter offers healthy fats and protein for sustained energy.
Perfect combination. And for dinner?
For dinner, we have oven-roasted chicken drumsticks and a mushroom salad. The chicken is a great source of protein, and mushrooms are packed with vitamin D.
I'm loving this menu. Now, what about a menu for those who are concerned about memory and cognitive function as they age?
This menu is all about incorporating those memory-protecting foods that are central to the MIND diet. For breakfast, we have a simple but nourishing meal, a cup of coffee, and a cup of gluten-free oatmeal with cinnamon and a half cup of chopped fresh strawberries.
That's a great way to get fueled up for the day. What about snacks?
For a mid-morning snack, we have a chopped hard-boiled egg, seasoned with salt and pepper, served with 5 whole-grain crackers. The egg provides protein, and the crackers add some fiber.
Simple and effective. What about lunch?
For lunch, we have a cauliflower and chickpea stir-fry served with microgreens. It's a dish that's packed with nutrients, fiber, and flavor, hitting all those key principles of the MIND diet.
Sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
And for an afternoon snack?
Steamed edamame with flaked sea salt. It's a satisfying snack that offers protein and fiber and is super easy to prepare.
What about dinner on this memory-boosting menu?
For dinner, we have Southern French-style scallops and turmeric-infused cauliflower rice. The scallops are a great source of protein and omega-3s, and the cauliflower rice is a low-carb alternative to traditional rice, made even better with the anti-inflammatory benefits of turmeric.
Another delicious-sounding dish. And for dessert.
To round out the day, we have cinnamon black pepper hot chocolate. It's warm, comforting, and those spices not only add delicious flavor, but black pepper can also enhance the absorption of those beneficial compounds in the chocolate.
This menu sounds like a feast for the senses and the brain. Now, what about those who are struggling with OCD? Managing those intrusive thoughts and compulsive behaviors can be so challenging. What kind of menu can offer support?
This menu emphasizes foods that can calm the nervous system, reduce inflammation, and promote a healthy gut. For breakfast, we're having homemade cereal.
Homemade cereal. That sounds intriguing. What kind are we making?
It's a blend of rolled oats, nuts, seeds, and dried fruit, providing a much healthier and more nutritious start to the day than those sugary processed cereals that can sometimes exacerbate OCD symptoms.
I love that. It's about taking control of your food and making those choices that really support your well-being.
Yeah.
What's next on this menu?
For a snack, we have cottage cheese with blueberries. It's a simple combination that provides protein from the cottage cheese and those powerful antioxidants from the blueberries.
Perfect for a quick and nutritious snack. What about lunch?
For lunch, we have a ground turkey and lentil soup. It's hearty, flavorful, and packed with protein, fiber, and flavor.
Okay, and what about an afternoon snack to keep those energy levels up?
Apple slices with almond butter. This classic pairing offers a satisfying crunch, fiber from the apple, and protein and healthy fats from the almond butter.
And what about dinner?
For dinner, we have turkey breast with roasted Brussels sprouts tossed with olive oil and balsamic vinegar. The turkey provides tryptophan, and Brussels sprouts are a good source of vitamin C and fiber.
Another fantastic sounding meal. Is there a dessert on this menu?
Yes. For dessert, we have frozen banana ice cream. It's so simple to make. You just blend frozen bananas with some almond milk and vanilla extract. It's creamy, delicious, and naturally sweet without any added sugar.
I love that. It's a perfect example of how healthy eating doesn't have to be restrictive or boring. Now, what about those who are struggling with insomnia and fatigue? What kind of menu can help promote restful sleep and combat that exhaustion?
This menu is all about those sleep-promoting foods that can help regulate your circadian rhythm and improve sleep quality. For breakfast, we have on-the-go scrambled eggs in a mug. It's a quick and easy way to get a protein-packed breakfast, even when you're short on time.
I love those time-saving hacks. What's next?
For a mid-morning break, we have a cup of chamomile tea. We've already talked about those calming benefits of chamomile, and it's a great option to help you unwind and de-stress during the day.
What about lunch?
For lunch, we have chicken and vegetable soup with brown rice. It's a comforting and nourishing meal that provides a good balance of nutrients and fiber, setting you up for an afternoon of sustained energy.
Perfect for those cold days when you need a little extra comfort. What about an afternoon snack?
A handful of walnuts is a great option. They're portable, delicious, and a good source of melatonin, which can help regulate your sleep-wake cycle.
What about dinner?
For dinner, we have spicy shrimp and roasted sweet potatoes with cinnamon. The shrimp provides protein, and the sweet potatoes offer fiber and complex carbs, keeping you feeling satisfied without weighing you down.
Okay, and for dessert?
For a refreshing and hydrating treat, we have watermelon ice pops with lime and blueberries. They're naturally sweet, packed with antioxidants, and a fun way to end the day on a delicious note.
These menus are so creative and inspiring. Now, what about a menu for those with bipolar disorder, where managing those mood swings can be incredibly challenging?
This menu is all about regulating mood, reducing inflammation, and supporting overall brain health. For breakfast, we have overnight oats with berries and almonds. They're easy to make ahead of time, and the berries and almonds add flavor and those mood-boosting nutrients we've discussed.
What's next?
For a snack, we have turkey lettuce wraps with avocado. The turkey provides tryptophan and protein, the lettuce adds fiber, and the avocado offers those healthy fats for a satisfying and mood-boosting snack.
What about lunch?
For lunch, we have grilled salmon with roasted vegetables. It's a classic combination that delivers those omega-3 fatty acids from the salmon, along with fiber and various vitamins and minerals from the roasted vegetables.
And for a snack?
A handful of pistachios. They're a great source of magnesium, which has mood-stabilizing effects.
What about dinner?
For dinner, we have chicken breast with rosemary and garlic, steamed green beans, and a quinoa salad with chopped bell peppers. It's a well-balanced meal that offers protein from the chicken, fiber from the green beans, and a variety of nutrients from the quinoa salad.
And for a relaxing evening beverage?
Golden milk. This warm and comforting drink features turmeric, ginger, cinnamon, and almond milk, providing a soothing blend of anti-inflammatory and mood-stabilizing ingredients. It's the perfect way to wind down before bed.
These menus are fantastic. Now, what about a menu for those with schizophrenia, whose experiences can be incredibly challenging? What kind of menu can offer support?
This menu focuses on protecting brain cells, reducing inflammation, and supporting overall cognitive function. For breakfast, we have scrambled eggs with spinach. Eggs are a great source of protein and choline, which is important for brain health, and spinach provides folate and magnesium.
What's next?
For a snack, we have a small serving of plain yogurt with a drizzle of honey. The yogurt provides probiotics for gut health, and the honey adds a touch of natural sweetness.
What about lunch?
For lunch, we have turkey chili with kidney beans. It's a hearty and flavorful dish that's packed with protein, fiber, and antioxidants.
And for a snack?
A handful of almonds. They're a portable and nutritious snack that provides vitamin E, an antioxidant that can help protect brain cells.
What about dinner?
For dinner, we have baked chicken with roasted broccoli and sweet potatoes. This meal offers a balance of protein, fiber, and complex carbohydrates, along with various vitamins and minerals.
And for dessert?
We have macerated strawberries with black pepper. It's a simple and refreshing dessert that combines the sweetness of strawberries with the unique flavor of black pepper, which, as we discussed earlier, can enhance the absorption of those beneficial compounds in the strawberries.
Now let's move on to a menu that can help enhance libido and promote a healthy sex drive.
This menu is all about supporting hormonal balance, blood flow, and overall well-being, which can indirectly enhance libido. For breakfast, we have salmon and avocado toast. The salmon provides those omega-3 fatty acids, and the avocado offers healthy fats and fiber. It's a delicious and nutritious way to start the day.
What's next?
For a snack, we have a small piece of dark chocolate. We've already discussed those mood-boosting and libido-enhancing effects of dark chocolate, so this is a win-win.
And for lunch?
For lunch, we have chicken salad with grapes and walnuts. It's a classic dish that provides protein, fiber, and those libido-boosting benefits of walnuts.
What about an afternoon pick-me-up?
A glass of pomegranate juice. It's rich in antioxidants and has been linked to improved blood flow, which is essential for a healthy libido.
What's for dinner on this libido-enhancing menu?
For dinner, we have saffron-infused chicken with roasted asparagus and a side of quinoa. The saffron adds a unique flavor and might have libido-boosting properties. The chicken provides protein, and the asparagus and quinoa offer fiber and nutrients.
And for a romantic evening beverage?
A glass of red wine. As we discussed, moderate red wine consumption has been linked to improved sexual function in women.
And for dessert?
We have a classic chocolate-dipped strawberries. This decadent dessert combines the sweetness of strawberries with the mood-boosting and libido-enhancing effects of dark chocolate.
These menus and recipes are so inspiring. It's amazing to see how food can be such a powerful tool for supporting our mental and even sexual well-being.
Absolutely. And I think one of the key takeaways here is that healthy eating doesn't have to be boring or restrictive. It's about finding what works for you, experimenting with different flavors and ingredients, and making choices that nourish your body and mind.
Now, Dr. Naidu also includes a helpful section on common cooking techniques and provides some chef tips to make healthy cooking easier and more efficient.
She covers a range of techniques like roasting, sautéing, steaming, and even making a simple vinaigrette. It's like having a culinary school lesson in the comfort of your own home.
I love that. What are some of her most helpful tips?
One of her key tips is to prep ingredients in advance, like chopping vegetables or measuring out spices to save time during the week.
That's such a great time saver. What else does she recommend?
She emphasizes the importance of using high-quality ingredients, like fresh herbs and spices, to elevate the flavor of your dishes. She also reminds us that cooking should be fun and enjoyable. It's about experimenting in the kitchen, trying new recipes, and finding what works best for you.
I love that philosophy. It takes the pressure off and makes cooking a more joyful experience. Now, as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, let's revisit a few key takeaways.
First and foremost, the gut-brain connection is powerful and complex, and it plays a significant role in our overall mental well-being.
It's amazing to think that those trillions of bacteria in our gut can influence our mood, our sleep, and even our cognitive function.
It's incredible, and the food we choose to eat can either nourish or disrupt that delicate ecosystem. Those everyday dietary choices really ripple through our bodies and minds.
So while food is not a replacement for traditional treatments like therapy or medication, it can be a powerful tool in our mental health toolkit.
Absolutely. It's about taking a holistic approach to well-being and recognizing that the food we eat can either help or hinder our progress.
And there are specific foods that can either help or hinder our mental health, and it's so important to be aware of those connections.
It's really true. We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, but one thing is clear. Food is a powerful medicine for the mind.
Absolutely. And it's not about perfection. It's about making those gradual changes, finding what works for you, and incorporating more of those brain-healthy foods into your diet.
It really is. Now, before we wrap up our deep dive into This Is Your Brain on Food, Dr. Naidu emphasizes the importance of being mindful of portion sizes. Even the healthiest foods can be problematic if we eat too much of them.
That's a good reminder. It's about finding that balance and listening to our body's cues.
Exactly. She also encourages listeners to pay attention to how they feel after eating certain foods. Do you notice any patterns? Do you feel energized after a salad or sluggish after a sugary treat? This self-awareness can help you make more informed food choices.
It's like becoming a detective of your own body, understanding how different foods impact your mood, your energy, and your overall mental well-being.
Precisely. And of course, always consult with a healthcare professional or a registered dietitian for personalized advice. They can help you create a dietary plan that addresses your specific needs and goals.
That's such great advice. It's a reminder that there's no one-size-fits-all approach to nutrition.
Absolutely. Now, for those who are interested in exploring even further, Dr. Naidu provides some resources and guidance on how to find a nutritional psychiatrist or a registered dietitian who specializes in this area.
That's incredibly helpful. Where can listeners find those resources?
They're available on her website and in her book, This Is Your Brain on Food.
Fantastic. Now, before we sign off, I want to recap some of those top 5 lists we discussed throughout this episode.
Yeah.
They're a great way to remember those key takeaways and start implementing these changes right away.
Great idea. Let's do a quick review of those top 5 lists for each condition.
Okay, starting with depression. What were those top 5 foods to embrace?
To fight depression, prioritize. 1. Fermented foods. Yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, kimchi. 2. Fatty fish. Salmon, mackerel, sardines, herring. 3. Leafy greens. Spinach, kale, collard greens. 4. Nuts and seeds. Walnuts, almonds, flax seeds, chia seeds. 5. Fruits and vegetables. A variety of colorful produce.
And for those struggling with depression, what are the top 5 foods to avoid?
To help manage depression, try to avoid 1. Processed foods, especially those high in sugar, refined carbs, and artificial sweeteners. 2. Sugary drinks, sodas, fruit juices, energy drinks. 3. Fried foods, French fries, fried chicken, donuts. 4. Trans fats, found in processed foods and some margarines. 5. Excessive caffeine, limit intake to moderate levels.
That's a helpful reminder. Now, what about anxiety? What are the top 5 foods to reach for when those anxious feelings hit?
To combat anxiety, embrace 1. Fermented foods, yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, kimchi. 2. High-fiber foods, whole grains, fruits, vegetables, legumes. 3. Omega-3 rich foods, salmon, mackerel, walnuts, flax seeds. 4. Tryptophan-rich foods, turkey, chicken, fish, nuts, seeds. 5. Magnesium-rich foods, spinach, almonds, avocado, dark chocolate.
And what about the foods to avoid when it comes to managing anxiety?
When managing anxiety, try to avoid 1. Processed foods, high in sugar, refined carbs, and unhealthy fats. 2. Excessive caffeine, limit intake to moderate levels. 3. Alcohol, can disrupt sleep and worsen anxiety symptoms. 4. High glycemic index carbs, white bread, sugary cereals, pastries. 5. Artificial sweeteners, may disrupt neurotransmitter balance.
Now let's move on to PTSD. What are those top 5 foods that can support healing and recovery from trauma?
To support PTSD recovery, focus on 1. Omega-3 rich foods, salmon, mackerel, sardines, walnuts, flax seeds. 2. Vitamin D rich foods, fatty fish, egg yolks, fortified foods. 3. Probiotic rich foods, yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, kimchi. 4. Foods rich in antioxidants, berries, dark chocolate, colorful fruits and vegetables. 5. Complex carbohydrates, whole grains, legumes, fruits, vegetables.
And for those with PTSD, are there any foods that are particularly important to avoid?
When navigating PTSD, it can be especially helpful to avoid 1. Sugar, can exacerbate anxiety and disrupt sleep. 2. Refined carbs, can lead to blood sugar fluctuations and mood swings. 3. High-fat foods, can increase inflammation and worsen symptoms. 4. Alcohol, can interfere with sleep and coping mechanisms. 5. Caffeine, can trigger anxiety and worsen hypervigilance.
Now, what about ADHD? What are the top 5 foods that can support focus, attention, and cognitive function?
To support those with ADHD, incorporate these foods. 1. Omega-3 rich foods, salmon, mackerel, walnuts, flax seeds. 2. Protein-rich foods, lean meats, poultry, fish, beans, lentils. 3. Complex carbohydrates, whole grains, fruits, vegetables. 4. Foods rich in iron, lean meats, spinach, beans. 5. Foods rich in zinc, oysters, beef, pumpkin seeds.
And on the flip side, what are the top 5 foods to avoid for those with ADHD?
When working to manage ADHD, try to avoid 1. Processed foods can contribute to hyperactivity and impulsivity. 2. Simple sugars can cause energy spikes and crashes. 3. Artificial food colorings may worsen symptoms in some individuals. 4. Artificial sweeteners may disrupt neurotransmitter balance. 5. Potential allergens, gluten and casein, if sensitivities exist.
Now let's shift to memory and dementia.
Yeah.
What are those top 5 brain-boosting foods that can help protect against cognitive decline?
To support memory and cognitive function, prioritize 1. Leafy green vegetables, spinach, kale, collard greens. 2. Berries, blueberries, strawberries, raspberries. 3. Nuts, walnuts, almonds, pecans. 4. Olive oil, a healthy fat that supports brain health. 5. Fish, salmon, mackerel, sardines, rich in omega-3s.
And for those concerned about memory loss or dementia, are there any specific foods to avoid?
To help protect your brain, it's generally a good idea to avoid 1. Saturated and trans fats, found in processed foods, fried foods, and some baked goods. 2. Sugar can contribute to inflammation and impair brain function. 3. Excessive alcohol can damage brain cells and impair memory. 4. Processed meats, high in nitrates, which have been linked to cognitive decline. 5. Foods high in sodium can contribute to high blood pressure, which is a risk factor for dementia.
Now on to OCD. What are the top 5 foods that can support those managing intrusive thoughts and compulsive behaviors?
To support those with OCD, try these. 1. Probiotic-rich foods, yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, kimchi. 2. Foods rich in tryptophan, turkey, chicken, fish, nuts, seeds. 3. Foods rich in magnesium, spinach, almonds, avocado, dark chocolate. 4. Foods rich in vitamin B6, poultry, fish, bananas, chickpeas. 5. Foods rich in omega-3s, salmon, mackerel, walnuts, flax seeds.
So what are the top 5 foods that those with OCD might want to avoid?
When working to manage OCD, these foods may be helpful to avoid. 1. Gluten may trigger inflammation in some individuals. 2. High glutamate foods, MSG, soy sauce, aged cheeses. 3. Alcohol can worsen anxiety and disrupt sleep. 4. Sugar can contribute to mood swings and anxiety. 5. Caffeine can exacerbate anxiety and obsessive thoughts.
Now let's focus on foods that can promote restful sleep and combat fatigue. What are the top 5 choices for a good night's rest?
To support restful sleep, try to incorporate 1. Foods rich in melatonin, tart cherries, walnuts, fatty fish. 2. Foods rich in tryptophan, turkey, chicken, milk, nuts, seeds. 3. Chamomile tea, known for its calming and sleep-promoting effects. 4. Foods rich in magnesium, almonds, spinach, avocado, dark chocolate. 5. Complex carbohydrates, eaten in moderation a few hours before bed, can help promote sleep.
And for those struggling with insomnia or fatigue, what are the top 5 foods to avoid?
For those with sleep difficulties, it can be helpful to avoid 1. Caffeine can interfere with sleep even when consumed hours before bed. 2. Alcohol disrupts sleep cycles and can worsen sleep quality. 3. Large meals close to bedtime can interfere with digestion and sleep. 4. Sugary foods and drinks can cause energy spikes and crashes, disrupting sleep. 5. Spicy foods can cause indigestion and interfere with sleep.
Now, for those with bipolar disorder, what are those top 5 foods that can support mood stability and manage those challenging mood swings?
To promote mood stability, embrace 1. Omega-3 rich foods, salmon, mackerel, sardines, walnuts, flax seeds. 2. Foods rich in folate, leafy green vegetables, legumes, citrus fruits. 3. Foods rich in magnesium, spinach, almonds, avocado, dark chocolate. 4. Foods rich in zinc, oysters, beef, pumpkin seeds. 5. Foods rich in vitamin D, fatty fish, egg yolks, fortified foods.
And for those with bipolar disorder, are there any specific foods that are particularly important to avoid?
When managing bipolar disorder, it can be helpful to avoid 1. Processed foods can contribute to mood swings and inflammation. 2. Caffeine can trigger mania and disrupt sleep. 3. Alcohol can interfere with medications and worsen mood swings. 4. High sodium intake can interfere with lithium effectiveness. 5. Grapefruit juice can interact with certain medications.
Yeah, what about schizophrenia? What are the top 5 foods that can support those managing this complex condition?
For those working to manage schizophrenia, these foods may be helpful. 1. Omega-3 rich foods, Salmon, mackerel, sardines, walnuts, flax seeds. 2. Foods rich in antioxidants. Berries, dark chocolate, colorful fruits and vegetables. 3. Foods rich in vitamin B complex. Leafy green vegetables, legumes, whole grains. 4. Probiotic-rich foods. Yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, kimchi. 5. Foods rich in vitamin D. Fatty fish, egg yolks, fortified foods.
And are there any foods that people with schizophrenia should avoid?
When addressing schizophrenia, it can be beneficial to avoid. 1. Processed foods can worsen symptoms and contribute to inflammation. 2. Gluten may trigger inflammation in some individuals. 3. Sugar can disrupt mood and energy levels. 4. Alcohol can interfere with medications and worsen symptoms. 5. Caffeine can exacerbate anxiety and agitation.
Okay, and for our final list, let's focus on foods that can support a healthy libido. What are the top 5 choices for boosting sex drive?
To support a healthy libido, incorporate 1. Foods that boost oxytocin, dark chocolate, magnesium-rich foods. 2. Foods rich in zinc, oysters, beef, pumpkin seeds. 3. Foods that support blood flow, pomegranate juice, watermelon, beets. 4. Foods rich in antioxidants, berries, dark chocolate, colorful fruits and vegetables. 5. Red wine, in moderation, may improve sexual function in women.
And are there any foods that might have the opposite effect and potentially dampen libido?
When looking to enhance libido, it may be beneficial to avoid 1. High-fat diet can lead to hormonal imbalances and decreased testosterone. 2. High soy intake may lower testosterone levels in men, but more research is needed. 3. Excessive alcohol can disrupt hormone production and dampen desire. 4. Processed foods can contribute to inflammation and hormonal imbalances. 5. Sugary foods and drinks can lead to energy crashes and mood swings.
Wow, we've covered so much ground today. It's incredible to see just how much our food choices can impact our mental, emotional, and even sexual well-being.
It's empowering to realize that we have more control over our health and well-being than we often think. And while food is not a magic bullet, it's an essential piece of the puzzle.
Absolutely. This has been such an insightful and informative deep dive.
Yeah.
What are some key takeaways you'd like to leave our listeners with today?
I think the most important takeaway is that nourishing our minds starts with nourishing our bodies. What we eat has a profound impact on our brain chemistry, our mood, our sleep, and our overall cognitive function.
It's a reminder to be mindful of those choices we make every day and to prioritize those brain-healthy foods that can support our mental well-being.
Exactly. And it's not about perfection. It's about progress. Start by incorporating small changes into your diet. Experiment with new recipes. Explore those colorful fruits and vegetables. And discover the joy of nourishing your mind through food.
Now, for those who are eager to learn even more about this fascinating connection between food and mental health, we highly recommend checking out Dr. Uma Naidu's book, This Is Your Brain on Food.
It's a fantastic resource that's filled with practical tips, delicious recipes, and inspiring stories. You can find a link to purchase the book in the description below.
And by using our affiliate link, you'll be supporting the HyperHive podcast through a small commission from Amazon. Every purchase helps us to continue creating these deep dives for you.
And don't forget to visit our website at gohyperhive.com for more resources, articles, and information on all things related to mental well-being. We're always adding new content, so be sure to check back often.
We'd love to hear from you. What are your biggest takeaways from this deep dive? What changes will you make to your diet to support your mental health? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below, or reach out to us with any questions you have. We're always eager to continue the conversation.
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into the fascinating world of nutritional psychiatry. We hope you found it informative and empowering.
Please like and subscribe to the channel.